It was a great day for us. Our target today was a 1-2, and we achieved that. So we're as happy as we can be. Obviously, there's how it happens and how it goes, and certainly today was not as easy or as straightforward as what we were hoping for. All weekend we've been, I'd say, a step ahead of the rest. But come to qualifying, and we weren't even looking like the quickest for the majority of it. So I was surprised. I didn't really doubt anyone, and there's not been a race where we've ever been just a lot quicker, apart from Budapest. And this track was definitely not the track where I would have thought that. So I did come into qualifying with a bit of like maybe others are just hiding a little bit more and not showing their pace yet. And it proved to be exactly that.
Reasonably happy. Would have loved a couple of extra tenths at the end, but no, it was a little bit more difficult than I think we wanted. I think we were wary that our pace in practice looked very strong and potentially a bit too strong. So yeah, I was pretty happy to end up on the front row.
Yeah, I think in general, to be honest, we've done some good steps forward during that qualifying, and we managed to put ourselves in P3, which when you look at the way free practice was going, to be P3 2/10 of McLaren is not an actual bad result. Obviously for the championship it's not good enough, and we wish we were in front of them and they were struggling, but the reality is we are in a McLaren track and they are maximizing that, and we're trying to keep up with them.
I was expecting a top 10 result for sure, because that's where we've been all weekend. And the car felt strong every session pretty much. So I kind of knew that's a must do. But P4 is definitely more than what I expected and hoped for. So very strong session, which goes down to a really strong performing car and good team effort.
How do I feel? In a way, relieved, because it's the final qualifying of the year. The qualifying itself I think was quite decent, but you never really had a good compare because many people kept on aborting on their new tires. So every time when I was P1, other people were unscrubbed, and I don't think that of course gave the fair performance assessment, even though I think even if I didn't drop it in the last corner, I think I could have fought for second.
It was amazing. All through practices outside the top 10 and just really struggling with the car, not finding the right balance. Made a lot of changes throughout the whole weekend, a lot of changes before quali, which doesn't bring a lot of confidence because you never really know what you're going to get out there. But then in the end, it was really positive. Managed to really get the car clicking.
I feel pretty relieved, to be honest. I wouldn't have said that going into the weekend, to be relieved with a P7, but really scratching our heads because the first 3 laps of the weekend in practice 1, we were quickest on each of those laps. Same as Lando, same as Lewis, car felt good. And then since that run, we've been about half a second off the pace. I've been behind Lewis all weekend. He was exceptionally unfortunate in qualifying, and I'm confident he would have probably been ahead of me today. So we don't really know what's gone on.
Yeah, very, very happy. I think yesterday the car was very difficult to drive, very disconnected. This morning we made some setup changes. They didn't work really in FP3. We were only 17th and 19th, so we made further changes before qualifying, and now the car came alive. These cars are so critical. They have a very narrow window of operation, and it seems that we found that window finally in qualifying. So happy for that, and let's see tomorrow. Let's be ready to enjoy it.
It felt very good. It's a feeling I've missed for a long time, having actually, getting to the targets and having those results that you aim to get. So I really, really enjoyed that one, and just really proud of the team as well.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shame, that we ended up losing that lap, because that meant that we had to put an extra set of tires, and that was a little bit of a compromise that we had to do.
It was a bit difficult, obviously. How I ended up was kind of on expectation, Anyway, we were expecting a little bit difficult going through Q3. Obviously, I was a driver. I always wanted to go beyond that expectation as always, but this time was not quite enough. So got it. Yeah.
Liam, a shame to see both you and Yuki out in Q2 there. I know that you had the impeding incident with George in Q1, but how are you feeling about the session as a whole? Do you feel like you've extracted the maximum?
Honestly, I would say so. When you have two cars together like that, normally that means you've got most of it out of it. Look, a perfect lap would maybe get us through. The margins are so close at the moment, but ultimately I don't think we quite had the speed for Alpine and Haas today. They're a bit too far down the road.
Lance, just talk us through how you found that qualifying session for you and how you felt the car was out there.
Yeah, probably better than it's been all weekend. It was the most competitive session for us for sure, but then yeah, we put all our tires in Q1, so no tires in Q2.
I'm not feeling obviously great. It's a difficult one to take, and it's obviously definitely not the right moment for this to happen between the engine penalty and lap time deleted. We are not in the strongest position tomorrow, but I'll give it all to try and turn the situation around tomorrow. I mean, obviously this one is on me. It's not been an easy weekend, but I still feel everything is possible, and yeah, I'll do my best.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Q2, the pace just slipped out of my hands. Yeah, typical. I think it hurts a little bit to have the last qualifying messed up, but just have to try and go out there and make it right tomorrow, and have a good race hopefully, and make up some positions.
Well, the plan was always to try to prepare the race car, but we didn't do any long runs with our issue in FP2, so we're kind of going into the race totally blind, but that's just part of the game. I hope we have a better race car. I think we do, but let's see.
Disappointing. We had the speed for Q2, but the last run we was the first one in the whole pack. No slipstream. We need slipstream because we're not quick on the straight line speed. Yeah, otherwise it would be actually quite okay to get through it. I mean, the lap was quite clean, just lacking off top speed, so quite disappointing just because it's the last one. You want to do well, but we spoke about not sending me out first for the last attempt, but somehow we end up first, so we need to see why.
Lewis, just such hard luck in that session there. You've been looking good in the practice sessions across the weekend. I couldn't quite believe when we saw that bollard.
I know.
What are your thoughts after that?
I mean, you couldn't have timed it more perfect, that bollard. Like, it happened just... That's never, it was meant to be. And I was really hopeful. I really thought that we had a chance at getting the podium. The car was feeling good, but wasn't meant to be in the end. And I know I did everything right, and I'm confident that I've taken the right steps this weekend. So I will try and fight from there.
I think the car felt good as yesterday, but yeah, the damage on the floor yesterday was very costly. We had to repair. You would have changed that floor, in any other situation, but unfortunately, with all the damage in the past, we don't have. So, I had to do my best today, but we lost a lot of points of downforce, more than 10. That is more than 3 tenths, and in a tight field like today, it's a lot.
Hello, Jack.
Hello.
Your first qualifying as an F1 driver. How did you find it out there?
Yeah, it proved tricky. A little bit disappointed with the end result, no doubt, but important was I was comfy. The end of the session proved very difficult. Definitely not the outlap and prep that I wanted for the final run, but good to learn and face those issues now so that I can, myself and the team, we can improve on it for next year.
You've got qualifying out the way. Now we look ahead to your first race tomorrow. How are you feeling looking into that and having seen all the data with the team behind the scenes and that long run pace?
Yeah, I think it's good. We'll be looking back, like you said, in the data from FP2 yesterday. Just looking into how I can improve, manage the tyres better, and how I can take forward the most knowledge and preparation I can for my first race.